Yes, and I wondered what you liked about working with Amrit.
I think Amrit is really good at, making me feel calm, because I can get quite stressy, as you may know. He's very good at calming me, because if I go to him with a problem, like I try not to so much anymore, but I'd go to him with a problem, and he has a very nice way of just calming me and saying, right, this, and he just clears things for me in my head, and yeah, and he's always like very positive about. He's always boosting me. Like initially when I started about, you're really good at this. You should do your level 5. You should do this. Your leadership is good. And I don't always have so much confidence in myself, but he's always putting that in me. And I think where I am today is because of him.
Very much a joint effort, I would say. It's really interesting. I mean, actually, but this is a really lovely thing. I remember when I started my first businesses, and they were brutal. I didn't understand anything about cash flow, kept running out of it. I remember I'm at this, I'd started this second business, and it was a tea room. And I'm like running, and running these two businesses. And then I was just about to get into this franchise. And I go into the tea room and the lights are off, and I'm like, let me just put the lights back on. They're not going on. Let me go to the fuse box. That's okay. I was like, let me call the provider. I'm like, you haven't paid your bill, sir. And I was like, oh my God. And they, give me this very big whopping number. And I was like, gosh, I haven't planned for something like that. I can't, and it was an old bill from a previous tenant and all this kind of stuff. But, and I'm like, I called Cam up. She was running her business in Wales back then. Wales?
I was on the motorway.
You were on and you pulled over, paid this guy so I could carry on.
I couldn't pay, so I couldn't, because obviously, so you had me on the call. It was a conference call. We got a conference call in, and then I gave permission, read my card details out, and then they took the payment that way, because obviously there's no other way of doing it at that point. So I said, well, I'm just going to be driving for another 2 hours. So it was a conference call that was put in, and we did it that way.
And every service counted, right? If I don't make that service, you don't pay the staff that day. Every fight was a war. It was just it was really, but you just. Again, it's a really interesting thing. We've really worked together for so many years, even when we weren't working together, and it's just kind of having that relationship where you can, just bounce off each other and just learn. And I think it's a really interesting thing, because now as the MD of Oxfordshire, we really treat Cam like a franchisee, actually. So she gets the same type of support as any other franchisee, not more. Probably less, right? And it's really then saying, this is a new initiative. Let's pilot that. How does it work? Is it good? Is it bad? And it's really interesting, because you've got this hyper honesty there of saying, well, no, this is SHIT because, and it's really and then we can dig in and really kind of something that you probably wouldn't have realized for 6 months a year, because everyone else hasn't cut through to the analytical piece, or it's taken a long time to roll something out. We find out within a month of saying, well, okay, hold on, this doesn't work because of this. So it's a really interesting thing that's kind of got us to here, I think. So.
And what else about Amrit? What's good about working with your younger brother?
Everything, really. I think he always thinks about people. So, money is not really an issue. Like, if something's going to cost a lot, and I'm always like, well, that's going to, he goes, no. So I think he's got a very big heart, if he wants to buy a gift for somebody, or, a lovely meal, he's very like, he's got a very big heart, and I think those things go a long way. And he takes advice, so I might, he might say this, and I'll say, I think we should do it like this, and he listens. So I think that really works. And or if I see, he's forgotten something, or somebody's birthday, I don't know if he's going to remember, and I'll text him first thing in the morning or something, remember it's so and so's birthday, because he has, I sometimes listening and seeing what his day's like, think, oh my gosh, how does he cope? How does he do it? Because, hang on a minute, he was in Cardiff and he's back for bath time and he's going out to an event after. I'm just thinking, I get exhausted thinking about his day. So I do worry about him as a mum, sometimes thinking, oh my gosh, when is he resting? Or if you need anyone to babysit, I'm happy to come. Like the other day he said, oh, I need a babysitter, and I said, oh no, I can come, but I'm going to leave because I got an appointment in the morning. And he goes, no, I don't want you to leave in the night. He goes, oh, don't worry, I'll figure it out. So we're always trying to think about each other. And we're always there. And I think we although we work together, we make time for family time. We've never been on holiday together. The only ever time that we were on holiday together was when you were 3.
No, last year.
But as in before
growing
that,
up,
when we were 3, because we couldn't go away as a family. It had to be if Dad was going. If Dad was going, he would go with 2 children, and Mum would go with 2. So we couldn't all go together because of the businesses and stuff. So that never happened. So last year was the first time we actually properly went on a holiday that he would remember, because he was 3 the last time we went. And we went away for a weekend. It was an absolute, it was amazing. Fun, it was so much fun. So low key, just spending time with each other. And I think we've sort of, us being, siblings being close, we're instilling that into all of the kids. Now there's so many cousins, and we regularly get together. They all get together. They all get on so well. Even though my kids are like giants compared to all of the other kids, but they all have a really good relationship. And he makes a lot of time for my boys. They've grown up thinking of Amrit like a more of brother type of thing. Although he thinks he's cool and think, oh, I should come to uni.
He wears kicks, right?
I'm ready to wear my skinny jeans.
He's still young, so I'll come out clubbing with you one night. And I'm thinking,
they've got more grey hair than I have, actually.
So. Exactly. Maybe it's a picking them up after the club.
But I think it's just nice. I think the type of relationship we have, we've instilled that into the kids and stuff.
But and I think having fun is really something that we've learned as a family. Our parents really didn't have very much growing up, but what they did have was this hunger to have fun. They dated each other the whole time. They'd go out with friends. They'd have friends over. It'd always be fun. And I think that's the thing that we've really learned. It doesn't have to be fancy to be fun. It just needs to be fun to be fun. I with some of my best friends, I always say that we could be literally sitting on the side of a road, but it'll be the best night out, because it's all just about what you make of it with the people that you've got. And I think businesses are no different. I remember when I walked into my first care business and my first RM at the time, who only stuck around for a little while and gave me a notice that ended on the 25th of December, which was nice. Right? It's like living care package out there. So,
you had an interview on the 24th when you were ill and Dad brought you there.
So and I remember her saying, oh, no, care is, everyone's always stabbing each other in the back and it's loads of politics and all this. And I was like, well, it's only because there's a leader somewhere that's allowed that, I was like, well, just get rid of the people that are creating the toxicity and it'll be a nice business. Make it one of your values to just have a laugh, have a good time with the damn thing, right? I was like, if I have to work there, I want it to be somewhere nice. I want it to be clean and tidy. I want it to be, a well-stocked snack fridge. I want something, where everyone's having some banter, and there's natural breaks, but also that everyone's vision is aligned. Can I make sure that my care coordinator gets to their end goal because of our end goal, and it's all connected? And if it's not connected, it's probably not going to happen. Everyone needs to be on that mission together in one way or another, right? And it's but without having fun, I think it's really hard to do.